game. What do you think about the defense as a whole?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a shutout, you got to be pleased with the result. We played so many kids. I think 29 guys, had tackles, so just having that kind of depth, rolling guys through. And the older guys, once we had that shutout going, kept making sure that we talked about on the sideline, so whoever went in was ready to play at a high level. So, I was pleased with that. Still got to improve tackling. There were some times that we needed to run to the ball a lot better. But overall, they played together. We rolled guys through. They stayed fresh. And for the most part, played really hard.
Did you roll them through just so Turtle could be the top tackler of the game?
I didn't know that. He hadn't told me that, but I'm proud of him. He's had a great camp. He had a great attitude. Can't say enough about the kid. But, now that that's probably out, so I need to go tell him. But it was a good performance by him, and we just, Coach Mullen made an emphasis that we wanted to play our 1As and 1Bs. I think there was a fresh 11 out on every single series. So that's kudos to Coach Mullen for recruiting so much depth and development throughout the years to get those guys ready.
What's it like to see as a coach? You talked about the 1As and 1Bs, but as Dan says, you don't know it until you actually see it in a game, and then they perform in the game. How happy are you as a coach to see that?
I think the first 4 or 5 drives were 3 and out, so it didn't matter who was in. They were committed to playing at a high level. And, it's just rewarding because those guys work so hard every single day in practice. They know they're fighting for reps, because the better you do in practice, the better you perform, the more reps you're going to get. So that elevates the play in practice, the attention to detail, the concentration, because they know that they're preparing to play. Because a lot of places I've been, the next group in, they know they're going to play 10, 12, 14 snaps, maybe a game. Our guys know that, they're going to play significant amounts of time, so they're dialed in throughout the whole time, dialed in meetings, because they know their performance is going to, show through that.
Are you happy with the pass rush you got? Because I know that was a point of emphasis.
Right.
And, you had a big day from Preston Smith. You had 3 guys get sacks. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, that was the big focus this whole offseason. We wanted to generate a lot of rush with 4-man or 4-man rush, and we did that for the most part. And Preston did a great job. Caleb Buell was on the first interception, was in the backfield disrupting things. Had a big day for us. P.J. Jones had a big day for us, and then Nelson Adams had the pretty pretty devastating sack. I think it was early in the third quarter that kind of set the tempo. For that second half, got everybody going.
Dan talked about Preston's progression since he's gotten here. Can you just talk about what you've seen from him the last couple of seasons?
Just the maturity, because I was here his first year, and just he was this long, tall, skinny kid that played really hard and was really fast, and now he's up to about 265, 268, and still has the same speed, but now he's developed great technique. He plays with passion, energy, juice, leadership. You can't say enough about who he's become. And then the blocked field goal was sheer effort. He comes flying through the line, low, physical, and he was on a mission to block that field goal. And then Jay Hughes, scoops and scores, a huge play for us. So, can't say enough about how much Preston has developed for us.
5 of the last 6 games dating back to last year, you guys have had created at least 3 turnovers.
Right.
What have you seen during that time that's been different that's created that much?
Yeah, it's what we talk about all the time. We have a pyramid that we talk about, the defensive coaching pyramid that the kids know about, and the top of it, it's all about the ball. At the very bottom of it, it's get the ball. And, you guys see the Instagram and the Twitter, and all we talk about is turnovers and, getting the ball. Zach Jackson busted a coverage in the second quarter. They made about a 20-yard gain. Well, he went and just grabbed the ball from the kid, going back to how Nico Whitley used to play. And, those kind of plays, are huge for us, because when they're running to the ball, that's all he's thinking about. I got to get this ball back for my guys, and he did it, and it was a huge play for us.
Is it just the acceptance of that? Because in the beginning of last year, it seemed like guys were struggling getting turnovers, and then it seemed like it clicked. What clicked, I guess?
I guess it's the cool thing to do. Creating turnovers is cool. They get a lot of recognition. Here we got to get the ball wall, so whenever they create a turnover, whether calls it or recover it, their picture is up on the get the ball wall. And Caleb calls the interception. Zach Jackson created the fumble for A.J. Preston Smith blocked the field goal for Jay Hughes. All of those guys are on the get the ball wall. And, they walk down the hallway every day, and there it is. So they see it, and it's a cool thing to have your picture up on that wall, so it encourages them keep that going.
What has stood out about that UAB offense that you've seen on film?
Oh, they're very physical. They're very well coached. The O-line is huge. Two really, really good running backs. One went for $190, the kid from Gardendale. The other kid, I think, went for 110, the kid from Clay Chalkville. Really good players, physical running backs. And the O-line does a great job. They have a nice scheme that gets those guys in places where they can hit some nice holes. And, they just need about probably 12 inches to 2 feet to pop through, and they're gone. So really good players. The receivers do a great job blocking in the open field, and they're dynamic, when they get the balls in their hands. So can't say enough about them. Coach Clark's done an amazing job in the short time that he's been there. You can tell how hard they're playing, how well coached they are. It's just, it's going to be a challenge for us.
What does this unit do well that stops the run? Or is able to stop the run?
Yeah, and we're just this past Saturday, that's what we talk about. We've got some big physical kids that can roll through. But anytime an offense puts up 300 yards of rushing, that gets your attention. And then you turn on the film, and they're well coached, and they've got great players. So we've got our work cut out for us. Our kids know that, and it's going to be a challenge.
After reviewing some film, what did you see out of Dez? His first game,
Right.
really primarily a linebacker.
Yeah.
And
Well, he played a lot of special teams, and then you kind of see him. I think the second series he was in, the first series he was in, kind of tentative, because he'd never played defense in a game in his entire life. So he's kind of tentative and a little apprehensive. And Beniquo's like, Dez, just cut it loose. And so that second time he's out there, you kind of see it, get a little more comfortable. When we watch kickoff tape, Justin Cox is a really fast human being, and Des Harris is right there with him. I think they're 1 and 2 going down the field on kickoff. So he's got the ability, he's got the size, he's got the speed. Just needs to, play more football, and just the sky's the limit for the kid.
I don't know if it was all the time, but occasionally you had Matt Wells and Turtle on the slot receiver. What does that allow you to do to keep the linebacker there instead of putting an extra corner?
Yeah, we tried to stay, with our base personnel, and having guys like Matt Wells and Zach Jackson, Beniquo's Brown, and Turtle being able to cover receivers in space, is a huge advantage for us, because we don't have to. They change personnel. We have to go change personnel. We can leave our, base 11 on the field and, match up.